Good afternoon. This is Tom Johnson with Fair Game Laguna, sitting here with Sue Kempf, our mayor. Sue, welcome.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good to be with you.
We got a lot to talk about today in a short period of time.
Yeah.
So let's get rolling. First of all, you and Mark are busy with this promenade.
Right. So Councilmember Orgel and I are the ad hoc committee, and we've already started working. So we've met with the retail business owners on the promenade. We met with them a couple of weeks ago and got their feedback. And we're going to meet with some architects this afternoon.
Nice.
We're going to be putting out the word via our social media and email blasts about how to apply for the 7-member community/residents focus group or task force, whatever you want to call it. And we'll be getting a web page up in the next few days. And so we're starting to get moving. We're just going to try to talk to as many people as possible and get as much input from people as possible.
So what are you looking for in an ad hoc committee member?
Well, I want people who have experience and skills that will transfer. So for example, I'd like a landscape design architect. I'd like to have someone from the arts, someone from the business community, a couple retailers, maybe one restaurant person, or maybe, other skill sets that might come forward that we don't know about or hadn't thought about, but we'll just see what kind of applicants we get. And then Mark and I will select who we think would be the best to participate. But we're looking for somebody who has some skills that we can utilize, because we're doing this kind of as a homegrown thing with SWA.
Good. I think it's a great way to do it. That way it keeps it all local decisions and we're not going outside to bring in something nobody here wants.
Yes.
Let's flip over to Laguna Canyon, the road going through the canyon.
Right.
You have a committee or a gathering coming up for that for discussion purposes. Next week, talk about that.
Yeah, so that's going to be actually on May 7th from 6 to 7:30 at the Suzy Q. And it's called Connect and Protect. And we're trying to elicit feedback and comments from the community on sustainability for the roadway, safety enhancements, multimodal transportation, see what comments and what people are interested in. We're also talking about, burying the lines in the roadway. And I don't know a lot about this because I'm not the subcommittee. It's Councilmember Whalen, Mayor Pro Tem Renagi, who are working on this. But I'll be going to this community workshop and I'll hear what people have to say. But I think we're going to get some really good feedback. It'll be a very interesting event.
Do you have personally a vision for what the canyon looks like when and I know it's not something that's going to be done by the end of summer, but when this is all, undergrounded and built out and things, do you have a vision of what that looks like?
Well, for sure, we don't want the poles there. And the problem right now is, we don't really want to put it in the open space, and we can't put it in the roadway because Caltrans won't let us unless we own the road. So it's very difficult. We have to get some money for that. We need significant money for undergrounding. So that'd be my number one priority. Okay. And I'd say the second thing is any other safety enhancements that we can ask Caltrans to do, or we may have to do ourselves, depending on how this goes. And then, multimodal forms of transportation. I'd like to see a protected bike lane because it's super dangerous to ride on Laguna Canyon Road because it's so narrow. There's really no shoulder. And so when you come around some of those curves and you're driving, you got to really pay attention, especially when you're coming into town. You really need to pay attention.
And that road is really used for cyclists. I mean, there's a lot of them out there.
There's a lot of them out there. I personally would never do it because as a driver, if you take your eye off the road for a second, you could, bump into one of those bicyclists and really hurt them. So I'm primarily worried about the undergrounding and safety enhancements.
Yeah. We'll make it a nice, much nicer looking coming into town.
Right.
Okay. Speaking of nice looking in town, can't go too far without mentioning the Heritage Month coming up.
Right.
That's important because it, takes a look at a lot of things that mean a lot to the city. Talk about what Heritage Month is and how you're going to be involved.
So we have a number of events for Heritage Month. The first one kicks off tomorrow night, and that will be at that new Tango restaurant, which is on basically Glen Eyrie and Forest. And that's gonna be, free hors d'oeuvres from 5 to 7:30.
People love free.
People love free, yeah. So that'll be a nice way to kick it off. And then, not this Saturday, but Saturday the 11th, there'll be 2 separate time slots for trolley tours of Aubrey St. Clair's work in town. So the one starts at 9, you have to be there at 8:30. And the other one starts at 10:30. You have to be there at 10:30, starts at 11. And that will be at the Water District, and they'll tour the town. And then there's a historic project forum where you can get information on, how to get your house on the Mills Act, what historic preservation means, how to go about it. And that's going to be on Thursday, May 16th from 6 to 8 and in the council chambers. So there's a lot going on in terms of activity for the month of May for Heritage.
Good. Now I mentioned everybody loves free. We have the Sunset Serenade coming up in Heisler Park.
That's right. Starts Friday all through May. And it's one of my favorite things to do. It's so relaxing. And so it starts, I think, at 6 o'clock till sunset. So everybody can come down there and get themselves set up.
What a great place to enjoy the sunset too.
Right. And then we do, I think, 3 different shows at Heisler following Sunset Serenades called World Tour. And that's like May 31st and then to 2 following Fridays in June. So those are really wonderful and free events, as you said, and a beautiful setting. And what more could you ask for?
Well, I got my hand slapped recently for not talking about the first Thursday Art Walk enough. So let's talk about it. It's happening. It'll happen this Thursday, and it happens the first Thursday of every month.
Right.
And if the weather gets better, that's a great thing. You walk around town. It's just a lot going on. You see the residents and things like that.
Right.
Is that something you enjoy too?
Yes. Oh, yeah. You're kidding me? It's great, and it's better in the summer, right? Because it's light longer. Yeah. And yeah, it's great. We have so many good artists in town that it's the best way to see their work, kind of in a structured way. A lot of people love it.
Well, it's surprising too when you really take the time, and it doesn't have to be a serious walk. It's just a casual walk. But when you really take the time to just kind of venture into some of those galleries and just, I think sometimes we just take them for granted. But if you just venture in, there's so much good stuff in town. Right.
I like going because I'm actually looking for some art pieces for my house. I have a couple big walls that need some art, and I've been kind of looking around, see what would work best. So I'll probably participate this week.
Good. Laguna Beach, place to be.
Yep.
Okay, finally, we get a city manager next week. Deep breath by everybody on council. I think you made a great choice. I've known Dave Kempf for a number of years. I know he's very excited to come back to Laguna Beach, which is really his home. He lived here for a long time and everything. You've got to be excited about Dave coming to town.
Oh, I am, and I think he's going to be great. I think the staff is also excited and ready for him to come in. I was in the city manager's office yesterday, and the people that work in the city manager's office are really excited as well. And but it's just so much better when we have a city manager on board. It takes a lot of pressure off everybody. Council, more input to the community, more access. And I think he's going to be great for our town, and I'm looking forward to working with him. I'm just going to be conscious not to bombard him with too many things when he first sits down in his new office.
Yeah, his to-do list.
His to-do list.
You mentioned staff. I just know from working with him previously, from the outside looking in, his staff has always loved him. So
oh yeah,
I'm excited for the staff in Laguna Beach also.
Right. Okay. Well, I've liked all of our city managers since I've been on council. I've liked them all, found them easy to work with, and I'm sure Dave will be the same.
Yep. Well, that's another wrap for Fair Game Laguna. Sue, nice to see you, and lots to do. Get out there, enjoy yourself.
See you next week.